The third most important movement of the plate boundary is the lateral plate contact. This is also called the transform boundary. In transform boundaries, the horizontal sliding movement along the boundary occurs between the tectonic plates, and this is called the transform areas, where we have the most sensitive zone of the world. If you look at the map of the world, this is actually called the tectonic map of the world. The most of the area is under the convergence and divergence zones. The red area shows the area where we have the divergence places, the boundary or the fault which is under the process of divergence, and the areas which are in the black color are consist of the convergence plate boundaries. So some are in the continent to continent, some are in the process of oceanic to oceanic, and some are under the process of oceanic to continent. So, but the transform boundaries are placed most along the small tectonic plates. So the most dangerous place of the world where we have the high speed of the plates exist in the St. Andrews areas. So this is a fault which is to the western side of the North American plate with the Pacific plate. A transform boundary is a type of fault whose relative motion is predominantly horizontal. Furthermore, transform fault end abruptly and are connected on both sides or ends to other fault or subduction zones. While most transform faults are hidden in the deep ocean, where they form a series of short zigzags accommodating seafloor spreading. Transform faults are the only type of strike-slip fault that can be classified as a plate boundary. So here we have the most important feature which exists in the transform fault is the right lateral strike-slip fault. So when the two plates are moving parallel to each other, some plates are in high speed but some are in low speed. So here we have the formation of the strike-slip fault. The San Andreas fault is a continental transform fault that extends roughly 1300 kilometers through California. It forms the tectonic boundary between the Pacific plate and the North American plate, and its motion is right lateral, strike, slip, or horizontal. The fault divides into three segments, each with different characteristics and different degrees of earthquake risk. The most significant is the southern segment, which passes within about 55 kilometers north of the Los Angeles. So this part of the St. Andrews area is highly sensitive, which is the southern segment of the place. Here we have the maximum speed of the horizontal movement of the tectonic plates. The Pacific plate to the west of the fault is moving in a northwest direction, while the North American plate to the east is moving relatively southeast under the influence of the plate tectonic. So this is the North American plate which is moving toward the southeastern part of the area, and this is the Pacific plate which moves toward the northwestern part of the area. The rate of slippage average about 33 to 37 millimeter a year across California. A thrust fault is a type of fault or break in the Earth's crust which there has been relative movement, in which rocks of the lower stratigraphic position are pushed up and overlay higher strata. Thrust fault are the result of the compressional forces. Now in normal fault, the hanging wall has moved downward relative to the foot wall. Normal faults occur where two blocks of rocks are pulled apart as by tension. Detachment faulting is associated with large-scale divergence. It often has very large displacements, even tens of kilometers. They are found on the seafloor close to divergence plate boundaries. लिहाजा हम यहाँ देखते हैं कि बहुत से ऐसे लैंडफॉर्म जो कि सतह ज़मीन के ऊपर हमें नज़र आते हैं वो इनिशियल फोर्सेस की वजह से बने हैं और ये इनिशियल फोर्सेस टेक्टोनिक एक्टिविटीज़ और वॉल्केनिक एक्टिविटी से मुंसलिक हैं.